It's been more than 3 years since Paralympic superstar Oscar Pistorius' spectacular fall from grace.
And to give you details on this breaking news this hour, Oscar Pistorius is suspected of killing his girlfriend. Police have confirmed a woman was shot 4 times at a house in Silver Lakes in Pretoria. She was declared dead on the scene.
He would be accused of deliberately murdering his model girlfriend Riva Steenkamp in a fit of rage. In one of the most dramatic moments of the lengthy trial, prosecutor Gerry Nel tried to force Pistorius to look at a picture of the young woman's bloodied head.
Take responsibility for what you've done, Mr. Pistorius.
My lady, I've taken responsibility by me waiting and not wanting to live my life, but waiting for my time on this stand to tell my story for the respect of Riva and for myself. I've taken responsibility, but I will not look at a picture where I'm tormented by what I saw and felt that night. As I picked Riva up, my fingers touched her head. I remember. I don't have to look at a picture. I was there.
Pistorius maintained that he believed he was protecting himself and Steenkamp from an intruder when he fired 4 shots into his toilet door, killing her. Judge Thokozile Masipa ultimately accepted his account of what happened in the early hours of Valentine's Day 2013, finding him guilty of culpable homicide. During his sentencing, Steenkamp's cousin, Kim Martin, gave harrowing evidence about how Steenkamp's death had ruined her family.
It's ruined Uncle Barry and Auntie June. Riva was everything to them. You know, she was their only child in PE for a long time, and they absolutely adored her. They were so proud of her, what she had accomplished, and she looked after them so well, you know, not just financially. That's why I was so worried about facing them, because I didn't know how they were going to cope. I didn't think they'd be able to cope with knowing that Riva wasn't there.
Pistorius would be sentenced to an effective 10 months in jail, but served a year behind bars after Correctional Services Minister Michael Masuta raised concerns about how he had been granted parole. Nearly 2 months after his release, the Supreme Court of Appeal found that Pistorius should have been convicted of murder under the principle of dolus eventualis, meaning he was held responsible for the foreseeable consequence of his actions.
What was in issue, therefore, was not whether the accused had foreseen that Riva might be in the cubicle when he fired the fatal shots at the toilet door, but whether there was a person behind the door who might possibly be killed by his actions.
In other words, the court found, Pistorius may not have intended to kill Steenkamp, but he intended to kill the person behind his toilet door. And it is for that murder that he must now be sentenced. Prosecutor Gerry Nel has already made it clear that he expects serious jail time for Pistorius.
We say that this is a serious offence, and that this accused is looking at 15 years.
Right before Pistorius was first sentenced for culpable homicide in October 2014, we asked his siblings if they and he were ready for the possibility that he could go to jail.
Up until now, we've just crossed every bridge as we come to it, and we'll continue to do so and support one another, and I think that's all you can do, and that's the way we've approached it up until now.
What is your hope for your brother's life from here on?
You know, I think it's a difficult question to answer, and not because we don't have hopes and dreams for him, but because up until now we really have just been dealing with things as they come, and that's been the theme of the last 20 months.
It's been really just a question of survival.
Pistorius' sentencing will mark the final chapter in an often sensational court drama. But for everyone attached to this tragic and terrible story, the pain and grief of Riva Steenkamp's death is as real now as it was 3 years ago. And whatever happens this week, that is not going to change. Karen Morn, Johannesburg.